From overgrown embankments to silent viaducts, these are the remains of a main line that once connected industrial powerhouses in the north to London. Engineered to the highest standard of its day, straight, fast and built to last. And yet, after just 70 years, it was cut apart and deliberately broken to ensure it could never return. This is just one fragment of the Great Central's forgotten route, an abandoned backbone down the centre of England. Welcome to Ghosts of the Great Central Main Line. I have no idea where Jim's taking me here. Up this steep hillside. Wow, this is steep. Look at all these bricks. Jim, what are all these bricks on the floor here?
They're what's left of the viaduct.
Really? All this is...
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Just what's left. Yeah, this is literally what's left of it.
Welcome to episode 2 of the 3rd series of Ghosts of the GCR. We started the first episode in Brackley. We looked at the Great Central Railway around Brackley. We're still in Brackley, but we've just moved up half a mile or so from the station to the site of where once stood Brackley Viaduct.
Yeah.
Now, doing this as a separate video because there's a bit of a story to tell here. It's the viaduct. They had some problems building it, and it's also the viaduct that they struggled to demolish as well, ironically. Now, initially, it was going to be built as a 22-arch viaduct. It spans the River Ouse. I've got some facts and figures here. I'll have to read them, so I'll never remember. 255 yards, which is 233 in metres for our American or European viewers. That was in length, 62 feet high, 19 metres. And it was typical GCR. It was built of a blue brick construction. Sturdy, built to last. Those blue bricks, weatherproof, you know.
Solid as a rock.
Yeah.
Solid.
And all was going well. The GCR, that was due to open late 1890s. But just as they were completing the construction, the south end of the viaduct, which is where we'll show you roughly, we'll show you where we are in relation to where we're starting this video. They started to see cracks appearing in some of the most southerly arches. Now they're building this on quite an unstable, quite a soft clay ground, and apparently they did have the warnings, but they went ahead and built it like that anyway.
I didn't know that.
So the end two arches had to be converted into a girder span, 2 girder spans, and reinforced on the piers.
Right, so this is the last bit of the viaduct. This is the last remaining piece.
The only piece?
Yeah.
Wow.
It took them about 4 days to blow up the viaduct. It was that strong. They kept going at it and going at it. I'm sure there's a video on YouTube where they're doing it.
Yeah.
And it just, every time they blew it up, it just, when the smoke disappeared, it was still there. It was that strongly built. And this is the last remaining bit of the viaduct.
I've heard that story for other viaducts so frequently, you know, they're so robust, aren't they?
Well, I was in the cafe at the Great Central where we've just been, right, when it was a cafe.
Yeah.
I was talking to one of the young lads who was serving. He was asking what I was doing. I told him what I was doing. I was going to try and find this. And he said, oh, there's another arch. And he kept insisting on there being another arch somewhere. And I can't find anybody that knows where this other arch is supposed to. Oh yeah, we used to go and play there as kids.
All right.
And I'm thinking, and he wasn't that old. He was only early 20s if he was a one, you know. But I can't find anybody that knows where this other arch, and I'm sure it's not there, because once you go from here, you drop down into the valley and it goes right across to wherever.
Right.
You know.
Maybe he's getting confused with another bridge remains or something like that.
Very, very possibly, yeah.
To celebrate the launch of the 3rd series of Ghosts of the GCR, I had these special edition mugs made. They're not mass produced, they're just a small run collectible tied to this series. And some people support the channel by watching, some people become a channel member, and some by picking up a bit of merch like these. Thanks to everybody who's supported the channel over the years. Every bit helps in different ways, and head over to the Wobbly merch shop to grab yours. We commented at Catesby Viaduct, didn't we, Jim, about how you could see like the anatomy and how it was all constructed. Look, I mean, look, it's just incredible.
I know.
Look at it. I mean, 2 layers of the blue engineering brick. And then look at all the stuff you don't see.
Well, that's why they couldn't blow it up. because it was so solid. You know.
Why did they blow it up then? What was the reason?
Well, it was just costing to have the upkeep of it because there wasn't no trains running across it anymore.
No.
They ripped the tracks up as soon as they could.
Well, they left a lot of the ones on this line. Is it? I wonder if it's the A43 was built or something, possibly.
Possibly, yeah.
Just show you along it. So, obviously, we're at the top of the embankment here, and this would be first starting from the top. Obviously,
you can see where it went. Literally goes across to the top of that hillock over there. And this is the track bed heading into Brackley.
So GCR station where we started the last episode.
He's up there to the northwest, yeah.
Indeed, Jim was correct. There's a few sources of videos showing the fate of Brackley Viaduct. Now, Ross Catley has a short old 8mm film of some videos of the viaduct's last moments. The link for that is in the description. Our friend Neil from NWP Exploring, he produced a video showing the news report from 1978, loaned by Gary Mears, featuring the viaduct's demolition. And once again, I'll leave a link so you can watch that very interesting full footage. And this also featured some of the local residents too, and their loss of the viaduct, which they had come to love. And interesting to hear the thoughts of the last owner of the viaduct. He bought the viaduct and several miles of railway track bed for £15,000. The resale value of the blue engineering bricks and rubble seemed to be the main incentive for its demolition. Although not great for the viaduct, it's great that there are these lasting legacies online to a one-time marvel of engineering and a real landmark of the Great Central Railway. But what do you think? Was this unnecessary destruction, or is this progress? An active railway aside, could it have been used as a useful right-of-way now? Or like most other surviving GCR viaducts, a crumbling liability to the landowner, working hard to prevent members of the public and like-minded railway enthusiasts from experiencing the thrill of being on top of such history, like Whetstone and Catesby, or a disputed right-of-way like Helmden. And if you ever wondered how thick, I mean, this is going to be like the approach, isn't it?
Yeah.
The start of the viaduct, if that's the first arch.
Yeah.
Look how thick that is.
I know. It's absolutely solid. This is not going anywhere. No wonder they couldn't blow it all up.
Makes you wonder why there's not any remains of the other arches at some point. Was it 22? 22
yeah,
arches.
I think so, yeah. I think they were determined just to get it. That's why they took so many attempts to blow it up, because they were determined to get it down.
Yeah.
You know, if my bearings are right, there should be some sort of structure here. This is where the next arch would have been.
Right in this spot?
Yeah. Where all this stuff is. So it would have been around about here. They've cleared that out, made some sort of park over there. But there's the end of the viaduct. You can just see it through the top there, where the blue begins, and that's the brickwork there.
You can't you? Wow, that looks so high up.
Yeah, I know. We just climbed up that.
And we really dropped down that much.
Yeah.
You don't get a feeling when you're on top of there.
No.
Of how high this viaduct is.
No.
I'd love to have seen that still standing, you know.
I know, yeah.
I mean, I know there's the pictures and there's a lot of the SW Newton ones online, isn't there? They're fantastic. The records of the GCR being built and in operation, they're just absolutely fantastic. So lucky to be able to see them online. So we leave Brackley, we're heading south on the GCR, and you're going over the A422. That road's currently closed, unfortunately, but we can show you some pictures from Google Maps. And then you hit this concession bridge, look, missing deck. In fact, look, it's the wing wall's been pulled down on this side. That's like a capping stone there, look at it all the way down here. That's just been dragged off the side of the bridge and just tossed down the side, hasn't it?
Yeah, literally.
And look, we have got a little bit of a stretch. We can walk on the old track bed here, look.
Yeah.
It's a makeshift path. And we're walking through a cut-in. This bit's being cleared, I think, because of the electric wires above, but yeah. Nice little cut-in this.
Yeah, lovely.
A bonus walk on the track bed.
Yeah.
We're just looking and see if we can see remains of some of these, a couple of the bridges on this section. Yeah, there's not much in the way of old infrastructure on this section, look, but just through the trees there we've got what looks like a ballast bin on the side.
Yeah.
There is a milepost in here, that's what just led me to look in there. There's a milepost actually annotated on the map.
Right.
Can't see it though,
No,
it's a bit thick though, we can't really get in there.
No.
So, not easily. Yeah, got a bridge here, look.
What I can't understand is, right, they knock down the middle of the bridge and they just throw it on the ground. Why don't they just leave it there?
I'm assuming this would have been a girder span, but yeah. It's either liability reasons or they demolished a lot of this. In a way, out of spite, didn't they, really quickly, as though they didn't want it ever to be brought back in.
Yeah.
It's always interesting just to see the remains of like the bridges like this, just in the middle of farmland and such. I mean, they're big structures, aren't they? I mean, there'd just be it's not a road, it should just be a concession bridge, but what a size. Yeah, I think this is a girder deck, Jim. Look at the brickwork, the wing walls all come down at this end, or it's had some encouragement, shall we say, by the looks of things. Yeah, we've just followed a public footpath that, oops, excuse me, getting caught on a tree, that follows the other line that went through Brackley. I can't remember the name of the line now. Oh, I'll put it on screen. Should know, I'm on a video it this morning. But look, we've come to the point where that line dissected the Great Central. I've just fetched you here, look, because look at all these blue bricks here. Oh, this is huge. Now, this, what I'm showing you here, is just a wing wall. I cannot believe the size this is. Well, that's the Great Central coming over the top here. The Great Central came over on a girder span. Here it is just in front, look. Some engineering that, isn't it? I actually thought it was the other way around. I thought we went over the top of the GCR. My mistake. Decking on top's seen better days though.
The size of it.
It's big, isn't it?
Massive, isn't it?
Look at the trough in there.
I know. Absolutely massive.
There's a sign on the side of this bridge. It just says dangerous bridge, and it's put on there just to try and dissuade anyone from going up. But look, you can see the brickworks just coming away there. Look, that's out the other side. It's been well and truly consumed by the vegetation on this side. That tree's right into the bridge now. It's not going to be good for that brickwork. Look, you can see that's, oh wow. See the branches wrapped around the parapet there. Huge wing wall at this side as well. Look at the size of it. This is a weird location. It's almost, this bridge is, you come into these places with stuff like this, it's almost like an apocalyptic world. You know, where it's just being, I mean, look at that. The view from here, it's being completely overtaken. I find great delight in equal measures to disappointment when you find things like this, because it's great to see remains still standing, but it just, again, there's things that you see when you're covering this line, and just the massive regret of the scale of engineering and the use that it got. Such a shame. And we won't get into the debate of, you know, should the GCR have closed, because it's all relevant to the time, isn't it? You know, it might have, some people might say, and a lot of people do say that, because a lot of people do question me when I do say shouldn't have shut. All we know is in this day and age it would have been a useful capacity, wouldn't it, on the national rail network. Look at the stonework just on the edge of the bridge there. I'm just stood up near the wing wall. And look, got all this as well, look, just Instead of this, just reinforcing the back embankment. There is a way up onto this bridge, rightly or wrongly. If it should be up here or not, but that's what we do, isn't it?
Just watch out, there's holes everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely warrants the label, doesn't it, as a dangerous bridge. So that's the, wow, wow.
Right.
See right the way through to the bottom, yeah. So that's the,
and here, look.
yeah, shapes, look, it's really on a skew, isn't it, this?
It is,
This
yeah.
crossover, look.
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere near there. So we're stood on top of the pier here.
Yeah, look, see right down.
Someone's tried to burn that. Whee, there's a stamp there, 1895. And that's looking down that other line, just going eastwards. Well, that's been a very interesting day in Brackley. Have I been saying Brackley all day? You know, when I keep talking about this, I keep saying Bracknell without realising. I've not been saying Bracknell.
We're near, buddy. No, you've been saying Brackley.
Right,
yeah.
Good. Always stuff slipping out like that. But I always get home and I'm editing it. Yeah. You know, when I went to Scotland, I filmed an entire video in a town and I didn't realise I was using the wrong town name. Can't believe it. I was just kicking myself, sat on my laptop, but it was at the end. I'd been filming for 10 hours, so I think I was a little bit tired, so understandable. We'll leave the episode here anyway. That's a fascinating look round Bracknell. Round Brackley.
I was just going to jump in and correct you then.
So, thanks, Jim. Cheers.
Pleasure.
We'll pick this up. This is the start of the third season. We'll pick up the rest of it another day.
Yeah.
So thanks to all my channel members and anyone who supports the channel in any way. Really do appreciate it. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you've not subscribed. Have a look at some of the other GCR videos that we've done. Me and Jim have done a lot over the years. I like to think some very interesting stuff we've done.
I like to think so.
Yeah.
I definitely like to think so too.
Yeah. So anyway, cheers. See you later. Ta-ra.